We have a question from Martin who says, all Valor led to is now people ask for eye level 200 and Raider IO checks in freaking +4s. Annoying for us casuals, to put it mildly. Yeah, I mean, I do not play in pugs for a very good reason. I've always taken the view that my time is worth too much to me as a human in the world to be sitting there getting into a group and it's a bunch of pugs and it falls apart halfway through, it's just not at all something that's interesting to me. I remember, I think it was Preach, I was like maybe in Legion, he did his, it was almost like a secret shopper thing where, he made a character and after every video on that character, he changed the character's name so people wouldn't know who it was. And that was basically just Mike's delving into the hellscape that is having to pug World of Warcraft, and it seems awful.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember that well because I did almost the same on the same class as he did. By coincidence, around the same time, I was doing it on a Aflock. I think he was Aflock as well, and it was just. I believe he started that series with the intent of saying, "Hey, you don't need a group to be good at the game. You can actually prove, through skill at this point of the game. This was at 7.2, 7.3, I think. You can just be good." And if you're consistently top of the damage meters, you consistently do the mechanics, if you know what you're doing, then you'll get invited to groups, you'll have a good time. And I think he was mostly sort of right, but I think something broke in him that day. During that adventure.
The texture he encountered along the way, for that journey.
That was mostly it. He didn't seem the same, and ever since then I know he's been talking about never don't pug, don't play the game in pugs, never do it.
Yeah, I would just flat out say that if you're a gameplay oriented player, I do not recommend playing World of Warcraft if without a pug.
Yeah,
I don't. I think it is I basically think it's a subpar experience in so many ways, and that absolutely. Rule number one or thing number one should be get a guild, find a community. There's people in our guild who are new and they were recruited by our recruiter, recruiting people. They join the guild. They're a bit quiet in night one, right? But, you fast forward 4 weeks, everyone's bantering together. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy. You just have to stick at it because sometimes you can find, a pack of dickheads, right? It's weird. Now, going to the actual question, I mean, yeah, it is unfortunate that what is mathematically, meta speaking, perfectly the best for the best players in the game then just has, all those things where it is absolutely what they should be doing for efficiency, but there are negative externalities to that impact the casual players. I basically think that to a degree it's unavoidable, and that it's just to do with metas, and that ultimately Blizzard's goal should be getting people to play together in groups where there needs to be a punishment, a downside for being bad at the game, being a dickhead.
Yeah.
You have to be able to do a dungeon in the context of doing more dungeons with that same group of people, because that is one of the only things that will actually give an individual player the various different incentives to be a social team player, to be good at the game, to do research, to want to grow, because if you are playing with other people and they can see you grow and move up the damage meter, that's all very good. And that can't really happen in pugs. So it's just tricky, because the more that you support the pre-made group finder, in a way for Blizzard, the more you're enabling people to play now, but actually damaging the health of the game in another way, or undermining aspect.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there's a way out of the fact that everyone's using Raider IO and item level as a check, but it's a thing where people are goals oriented in pugs, and the goal they're looking for, what they're seeking, is as fast a completion as possible. Because I know I'm guilty of the same. If I'm doing those 4 mythic zeros for the weekly quest, in my head I'm going, okay, well, I want to do I'll do 4 different ones instead of the same 4 or the same one, but maybe I'll do Sanguine Depth maybe 2 or 3 times if I get a good group. And that's going to be me going, okay, well, that's likely to be event there. I'll pick that. Well above 200 item level. That person's got 215. They're going to wreck this. and it's because item level just translates to my experience is better that way. I have no incentive to take someone with lower gear, and that's because like there's a social incentive to solve that, which is that person finds friends who are higher geared or the same gear they can do it together on. And the other incentive, which I absolutely do not hope they ever think about, is basically giving you an incentive in game to boost. I hope that's never a thing. That would be a nightmare. But there's no solution because it's almost like a societal and cultural problem that's just been being, I guess, expressed through the Premier Group Finder, where it's all just it's nameless, faceless. People are ships passing in the night kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but